Hello everyone and welcome. We are here, we are live, we are ready to go, and we are back in Kerbal Space Program Hardcore mode, picking up right where we left off at the conclusion of last week's stream. And for those people that are not aware, that might be new to this series, by Hardcore mode, what I am doing is I'm playing the game on hard mode, which amongst other things means that I cannot quick save or revert back to flights to the launch pad. As well, I did myself the further disservice of turning down the science to 30%, which is half of what it normally is in hard mode. So 30% is the rate of return of science, so I'm collecting science more slowly. And what we are doing is we are playing, no, this is not RP1, I'm being asked. This is pretty much a stock game other than dressing things up and Kerbal Engineer and this contracts window and other things, but all the parts are stock, all the gameplay are stock, all the contracts are stock. So it's pretty much a stock. Everything you see that I do here, I think can be pretty much done in a stock game. Anyway, what we got happening here is we have this infrared telescope that at the conclusion of last week I had put into orbit, and the mission for this is to put it into a very specified orbit, in orbit about the sun, and then we're just going to turn it on and leave it there as it maps 8 asteroids threatening Kerbin. So once it maps 8 asteroids, which it'll do passively in the background, then this contract is done. What I also have happening is, you can see here I have an alarm set up for it, is I got a C-class asteroid intercepting with Kerbin in about 24 days. I have a contract to bring a C-class asteroid into orbit about Kerbin. So I think once we send this guy on its way, not to its final orbit, but just do its ejection burn and get it going in the right direction, I think that's what I'm going to do, is get into the VAB and start thinking about building together some sort of asteroid recovery type of mission to get an asteroid into low orbit about Kerbin. And once I have it in orbit about, or just orbit about Kerbin, it doesn't have to be a low orbit, but once I have it in orbit about Kerbin, I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with it. I might bring it down to low orbit about Kerbin. Maybe we'll shuffle it over to the moon or Mimas. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, but all of that will have to all be, I'm thinking, way into the future. Let's get into this now. You might recall last stream that I had budgeted 1,410, and I actually went over the math a little bit on using my spreadsheet, and budgeted 1,410 meters per second to get from low Kerbin orbit to the orbit, the designated orbit here. What is it here? This orbit. I'll show a picture of it in just a little bit. So 1,410 meters per second is the budget. This thing currently has 1,626, so more than 200 meters per second extra. So we should be able to do easily. Now it's time to find out just how close my estimate is. So I'm going to just go to here. Here, let's get rid of the extra stuff we don't need to see. And here, I'll show you the orbit we're going for. You don't see it until I'm actually focused on the sun here. So there, that's the orbit I'm going for right here. So back to Kerbin we go, and that is not Kerbin. Why am I focusing on Moho when I want it there? Okay, fine. Do it this way. That focus thing doesn't work every time. There we go. So we are going towards the sun. So that means we need to eject ourselves in a retrograde direction relative to Kerbin's orbit. So we need to eject ourselves in this direction. Kerbin is going from left to right on your screen. We need to eject ourselves going towards the left. So that means our ejection needs to be in the vicinity of about here. Somewhere in there. Don't have to worry about ejection angles. We'll tweak all that. And let's just see how we do here. So we're just going to pull this out until we get an actual ejection. And keep pulling. There we go. Okay, and I can... Oh, wait, I got to do it focused on the sun. Okay. Bring the maneuver back. Won't let me do that, so we'll have to do it this way. Select the maneuver that way. Still won't let me... Really? I have to be... That doesn't make sense. Do I really have to be focused on the vessel in order to... Let's see. No, this is working. This is working. I just can't get the little widget. There's the widgety tool. Okay, I don't know what was going on there. So you can see here I'm pulling it, and we're close. But now what you can do to get your ejection angle just exactly right is simply use a little time buttons. I got 10-second intervals right now, and just pop ahead 10 seconds, and you can see that got worse. So that's a worse position from which to do my ejection. And just keep doing it. Bring in that periapsis as low as it can go. I saw around 2,500 is as low as it, or 11,250. Pretty darn close, right about there. Let's add a little bit more prograde. Let's really dial that in down to 1 second. So again, just looking, is it getting worse? No, it's getting better. And now it got worse. So right there's my perfect ejection angle. A little bit more prograde just to put that right on top of the target orbit. That's pretty darn close, I think. A little back a bit. I'm probably getting on tired. Well, here, I can look at this. This is 11,091. And that's the apogee, so it's got to be lower than that. That's probably about right. Doesn't have to be precise. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now that's going to cost me 957. Remember, my budget is 1410, so 957. Now let's find out how much the capture is going to cost, because all I have to do now is put another burn here. This is just to see how I did on my budget. This will be a retrograde burn, just to match the orbit. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. It'll give me an idea, though. There we go. About that. So, and this is still the first burn, this 957, but if I go and click on the little text and make sure that says maneuver 2, that is 444. And now I'm going to get out my calculator and put myself at risk. I think I'm pretty close to 1410. 957 plus 444 is 1401. And my prediction was 1410. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to delete that second maneuver. We'll deal with that later. Right now, what we're going to do is do this burn here. So 55-second burn coming up in 16 minutes. So let's do it. I'm being told I appreciate that. Is that Christopher Bruder? It's hard to read it when it's all mushed together. I hope I got the name right there. But yeah, I appreciate the comments there. I do try to sort of explain as I go. Some people I know might find that tedious, but I kind of prefer to do that. I can't do stuff. That's just the old math teacher in me. I'm a retired math teacher for those people that don't know. Can't do stuff without explaining as I go. Okay, so here we go. We're just about ready to do our burn. Hello, is it the Otaku? Numbers that close make you nervous? It's all going too well. Either way, I got so much. Oh, that was my budget 1410. I have 1,626, so I have plenty of extra fuel, if that's what you were referring to there, Brian. No, I wasn't going to budget for. I wasn't going to put 1410 worth of fuel on here. I don't budget that tight. But it's nice to know when the math works. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And if you don't want to do the math like I did, and I understand most people wouldn't, you can easily budget these types of missions out by just having anything in low orbit about Kerbal, even if you're going to use Alt F12 to put it there. And then just plot out your maneuvers like I just did with the 2 maneuvers, and then just add them up. And there's your budget. You don't have to do any math. You can pre-plan it and then launch the thing. Oh, the reaction wheels on this are way too twitchy. Such a little craft. Okay, we are approaching this here. Let's take a look from here-ish. Still haven't... There we are. Now we'll just kind of tweak this in a bit. Again, the apogee is 1191, so I just need to get a little bit less than that. Or, not even apogee, apoapsis. And even if it was real scale solar system, it would be apohelion, not apogee. And there's quite a lot of leeway too, so you don't have to be super precise. Okay, so that's that. Does the designated orbit specify? No, it's just apoapsis and periapsis that have to be close. There's no longitude of the ascending nodes or anything like that, or argument of the periapsis or periapsi. I don't know. Anyway, this guy is on its way. I'm going to set up an alarm. Create an alarm for, shoot, engineers in the way. Get out of the way, engineer. This is going to be for the SOI change. Give me like 10 minutes warning. I like to be with the vessel. This is the Sentinel SOI change. I like to be with the vessel when it changes SOIs. I don't know why, but I do. Not sure if the game will dork me over. But anyway, that's not for another 7 days. So I don't have to worry about that for a little bit. Let's get our... Oh, we can maybe turn this thing on. Start object tracking. Oh, I need to be in a solar orbit before I can even turn it on. Okay, so we're off. We're back to the Space Center. Hello there, Homer. Glad you can join us. All right, so we've got ourselves a C-class asteroid to try and wrangle. Now, I'm already started tracking it. Those are the unknowns. These are the knowns. So let's see if I can... I should have it... Let's hide that one. And it is... Oh, wait. The contract won't tell me what C-class asteroid it is. Silly. There's the contract. But did I do myself the foresight of actually saying... No, it just said C-class asteroid. Okay, so let's go through and see if we can find it. So... Oh my gosh. I don't even know how I knew it was a C-class asteroid. Where does it say it? I think I went through this last time. Oh, this one's a C-class asteroid. There we go. It does say it. Okay, so I can tell by the intercept. I really should have said what the name of it was, and then that would have made my life easier. Okay, just start them this, pick them this way. There we go. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. The intercept's got to be really close. Not that one. Oh, might be this one. 24 days. Yep. Okay, so it is asteroid FNI. I'm going to call you Finn. You are the culprit. Now let's focus our view on Kerbal with that selected. Can I focus my view on Kerbal? Is it going to let me do that? There, I could do it this way again. And if I zoom in, oh, look at that. It's actually our Kersponk. Okay, so for doing this mission, and it's been a long time. So actually, this is pretty good. So I'll hardly have to make any deviation of the asteroid to get it to miss Kerbal, because it's hitting it. But I just want to barely miss it and try and use the atmosphere to kind of slow it down a little bit. But the plan is going to be to launch into an inclined orbit which matches this inclination. So we're going to launch the craft into a low orbit matching this inclination like that. And then we're going to scoot out that way to go meet it. So we'll be doing our ejection burn. You know, if you can imagine being in a low orbit, like this inclination, we'll be doing our burn around here-ish, heading out to do it. And I'm eyeballing that at pretty close to 45 degrees. Maybe a little less than that, maybe about 35 degrees. I don't know, something like that. But I'll budget for 45 degrees. We'll budget a little bit more. Okay, so that's going to be the plan. So let's get out of here. And let's start thinking about our build. Alrighty, so let's get a probe body. Now, what's my best probe body? Is it the Hex 2 now? Probably. I want one that has all the buttons. Yeah, maneuver tracking, the whole shebang. Let's do this one. There we are. And we're gonna put obviously the big grabber on top of that. And then the big one, not the small one. Wow, that's the big one. How small is the small one? It's teeny, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I cannot. There. That's all I wanted to do. Okay, and this is going to be uncrewed. And as far as fuel budget goes, it's a little over or a little less than 1,000 meters per second to exit yourself from Kerbin's SOI. It's not going to be much more than that. That's all you got to do is just barely get yourself out. And then I find I need about another 1,000, probably less than that, but it's good to budget more, to do the rendezvous with the asteroid. And then it's going to be very small amount of fuel to do the kind of redirect thing, because I'm going to do some aerobraking. I never do the math on these ones. It's been a long time since I've done one, but I've always kind of wung it by just going, well, 1,000 out there, 1,000 to match, and then maybe another 5 to 1,000 to just flaff about. And I'm going to use the nuclear engine. That's going to be the plan. So let's see if I can get away with just using some liquid fuel tanks. There's the Mark 1 tanks. What do I have now that's just all liquid fuel? I can do this by resource, right? Yeah. Intake, EVA. So, liquid fuel. Of course, all these have liquid fuel. That's not helpful at all, you stinker. Okay. What happens if I just stack a bunch of these on it? And I'm going to use the Nerve engine, which I now have because it's so efficient. There it is. My first use of this thing. And right away, look at that. We're already well over getting close to 6,000, and my budget's going to be about 3,000. This isn't going to be that big a deal. There we go. In fact, I might go a little bit more. Let's think about this. What if we used a couple of those little Mark Zeros around it? There's 4,000. I'm thinking also of the upper part of the orbital insertion. It'll deal with that too. So that kind of a thing. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a fairing on the top of this. Let's see. Let's get a structural part of some kind. Oh, we're going to need a lot of reaction wheels to crank it around too. This is what I'm looking for. No. That's the Rockomax adapter. That kind of might work. And then just the fairing under that. Wonder if I can go, you know what, rather than going as big as that. Do I have a... that's not what I wanted to do. Go away. I'm wondering if I can get the others. Let's go to fuel cans. I'm looking at the adapter piece. That's a 1.875 meter adapter. And I'll just take the oxidizer out of it. Gonna need RCS propellant too. But then that way, throw that away, throw that away. That way I can easily enclose this without it being so dramatically big. That kind of thing. How much DV this vessel should have? I'm going about 4 grand. That's my guess. So right now I'm at 40,000. Then that's not including getting it into orbit. but I'm at 4,380. I got a healthy thrust to weight ratio. Remember that when this thing is actually docked, it will have a atrocious thrust to weight ratio. I'm also going to grab some reaction wheels like this. A couple of them, because hauling around that asteroid is going to be a pain. I'm going to get some small little nose cones. I'm pretty sure these guys. Yeah. Just to kind of enclose that. Maybe what I'll do too is to add in a little bit more. Because I got the thrust. I might as well just like that. Like that. And these will not get dropped or anything. These will just stick to it. That kind of thing. Still healthy thrust to weight ratio, or still healthy delta V2. It is going to need RCS. I'm going to need to find a place. And it's going to need batteries. Batteries too. Now I do have now. I might as well use them. I got these. These are going to be fine. These 1,000 batteries like that. That'll be more than enough battery power. Put solar panels on in a sec. Let's think about where to hide the RCS. It is going to need it. Changing my mind on the order of this. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. And then I'm going to get an RCS can. But, filter by monoprop. Not, that's the little one, right? Yeah, I don't want the little one. I want the 1.25 meter one. Which is probably... No, actually, I think it's this one. I was wrong. I could have arranged them by mass. That would have made my life easier. There we go. That should be tons of monoprop. How many monoprop is that? 120? I think that should be fine. And solar panels. Let's think about where I'm gonna stick them. Doing a little bit of clipping. I hope people don't mind, but this is like, this is an aesthetic choice now for me. Like that. There. Sweet. Okay. You know, they might look better now. Shouldn't be getting into aesthetics already, but something like that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Solar panels. I could just hide the solar panels inside. Well, if you're really close to the asteroid, though, they can easily get in the way. Why not use the... That's the 3x2s. These guys. The 1x6s. Put them here, and I'm picking the ones that I can retract again because I probably will be doing some aerobraking, and I've made that mistake before of not doing that. That should be more than enough electricity. Jeepers, am I really closing in on this already? Nerve engine, we are recovering an asteroid. That's where we're going. Okay. Nerve engines aren't just for going far away. Sometimes I think people make that assumption with the nerve engine that they're always about going far away. They're not. In fact, what I like to do, and probably will do a little bit later in this series, is I like to, once I threw away a bunch of my stations, but to build proper stations around Kerbal and the Moon and Minmus, and then have a nerve-pushed little shuttle that just runs around. It has maybe a couple of thousand meters per second of DV in it. That just, its whole job is just to run around and transport Kerbals around the Kerbal system between Kerbal and the Moon and Minmus, and it works great for that. Geez, I'm really thinking, I feel like I'm really obviously missing something, but I don't think I am. I'm thinking this is gonna work. Oh, RCS blocks. Now, the RCS, I'm not going to do your proper type of translations with the RCS, but the RCS... Why do I have RCS? Yeah, the RCS is going to... Do I need RCS? There's the question. I think I might. It can help with the cranking around the asteroid too. Yeah, I think I'll put RCS, and I think I'll do this proper like too. So I do have the RCS Build Aid. My dry mass is way down here, so that's around where my RCS blocks are going to go. I'm going to put on the big ones. So that are these. And we're going to put on 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. Probably move them up a little bit. Looking at the torque number. Oh wait, I want the I want the dry center mass. There we go. Because this will be pretty close to dry when this is all done. And then I'll actually just move it up a little bit past the dry. Well, you know what? Just split the difference. The heck with it. Split the difference between the two. I got so much reaction wheels, it's not going to matter anyway. So those are just for translationing. Yeah, I'll go with that. That should be good. Okay. See a lot of stuff going in the chat. I'm trying to keep up. Okay. And I'm really thinking, though, unless I'm crazy, I think I'm pretty close to being there. We won't get into painting these. Put some lights on it. In fact, what I can do is use a couple of these spotlights. Do like that. So as we're closing in, right? Oh, don't these... I thought these things could... okay, that's fine. I can do it this way. I thought they actually could... that kind of thing. Are there better color options? Gray is probably better. There we go. Lights off. And we'll put some blinky lights somewhere. Just on the outside here. Amber blinky lights is what we'll go for. There, and we'll make them white, and we'll put the blink down to 1/2 second. Just like that. And I got ones on the other side. Yep. And I'm also going to put blinky white lights. Just single symmetry, so not on the other side. And this is the... Oh, do I have it right? No, I don't. Okay, I'm changing my mind on where I'm putting these lights. These lights are going to go here. With two-way symmetry. I'll explain why I'm changing my mind in just a second with the lights. There we go. And then I'll put a single blinky light. So those are amber lights there. This one's going to be a one-way symmetry. This one I'm going to keep it white and put the blink on. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to put a blinky white light on the dorsal side, or the top side of this, which is this side. This is the port side, and this one's the starboard side. And the whole reason is so I know which way's top. And that's just so I can... I think I'm going to change some things, but I'm going to put still this here. There. And that's just so I know which side's the top. And that'll be easier when I'm coming into the asteroid and navigating with the Navball. If I know which way is up on the craft, it always kind of helps. I'm thinking I might take these solar panels. Put them over here too. They might look funny though. That's what I'm a little worried about. See, snap. There. Do they look? Oh, they might not look too stupid. Maybe if I sink them in a little bit. So. I think they're okay. Might swing them around. Not that way. Oh my god. That way. Is that so hard? There. Just like so. And then I'll move these lights up. Just to get them away. There, I hope that makes some sense. There we go. Suggest you add a docking port just in case you need to refuel. Very good idea, because there's a very good chance. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with this asteroid once I have it in orbit. Once I have it in orbit about Kerbal, then I can start making those decisions. But I might need to refuel this thing. That's a very, very, very good point. In order to get it to do what I want to do. So I think that is a very good idea. So what I think I shall do is stick in a docking port. The question becomes, which one? Probably just the little junior one. I'm not, clearly Kerbals can't go into this thing. And that's going to be the easiest thing to deal with in terms of weight. I think so. Just stick it here. Just do that. And that's for refueling, as was mentioned. That's it. Just a port for refueling. What do you think? I think this is pretty good. Got about 4,000 meters per second of DV. So next what I would like to do is build a booster for this. So we're going to build the well, no, let's leave it like that for now. Let's save this. This is actually the ARM 1. Is what I'm going to call it. Okay, I'm going to open up my spreadsheet, which you can't see, so maybe I should make it so you can see it. Give me a moment. This one. Okay, and I have here my little calculator for calculating launch delta V's. Like if I put in a 0, it comes out with 3,500, which is sort of my base. I know it said 3,400 on most of the DV maps, but I like to be a little bit higher than that. And actually, typically I go to 3,600, like a little bit more. But if I put in an inclination, like 45 degrees, remember I wanted to, now it's saying 3582. Let's call that 36. Let's go up to 37. So 3,700 meters per second to get into orbit is what I'm going to call that. That was it. And I have a math video on this exact calculation that I'm performing in order to get that number. You can find it. Okay, so I want to take this, add about 3,700 to it. Just thinking. No, because this is going to handle the top part. Let's add about 3,000 to it. So this will handle the top part of the insertion, and then the booster will fall away, and all of that kind of good stuff. I am thinking. Nah, I was thinking just for a moment that maybe I should build a fairing that'll go around this whole thing. But I think I'll just go with what I got and just like stick it on top of a booster. So I want the TD-12 decoupler. That should put a nice thing around that. And then I gotta go bigger. Bigger. So let's go to 2.5, because I don't know, maybe not. Maybe just 1.85. Oh, no, they're arranged by name. I can go like that. That's my biggest. If I go I got the Bobcat. Is the Bobcat the biggest? That's the skip. That's bigger, yeah. I think the Bobcat's the biggest. What I wanted to do, I forgot. Got 4,000, so add on about another 3,000. If I can get to a total of 7,000, I'll be happy. Does that make sense? Yeah, 7,000. I'll be happy. We'll put this to a. See how we do. 7,000. Maybe a little more than 7,000. I don't think this is gonna cut it. I think I gotta go bigger. Going bigger. So this is the Rocco Max brand adapter, and then I can go to the big, you know, the big boy cans. Hey, that's getting pretty close. It's already more than I thought. Okay, let's... What if I went just with the mainsail? Wolfhound. I didn't even know I had that. I don't even know what that is. Mainsail. That's what I'm looking at. 7,000. That is way too much thrust, though. So we'll go smaller. There's 7,000. Lotto thrust. Yeah. A little more. 7,300. Good launch thrust to weight. I'm thinking this might be it. Just gonna fool around with tanks a little bit. And I don't even need to adjust the thrust to weight ratio. It's gonna be fine. Little tiny fins on the bottom. I think we're missing comms. Very good point. We are missing comms. Okay, so I'll stick up a Communitron up here. Actually, yeah, let's stick on a DTS antenna. Let me get that. This guy. Thank you for spotting the comms issue. That thing most certainly does have. Okay. Fix that. Still, I think sitting pretty good. So 37. This feels sketchy. Doom, doom, doom. This needs to go with this. This needs to go about here. Build the fairing. I'm thinking of sticking on just a little bit more. Just because it just feels sketchy. Feel like more is better. That's what I'm thinking. Now I don't want to... Just thinking out loud here, folks. Just thinking out loud. What if I went with just some small radial type of tanks on the side here? And I'm honestly thinking... Not a lot. I'll grab something by mistake there. Like something like these guys. That's got gimbaling in it, so a couple of Reliance in there. And we'll go all of them on at the same time, and we'll use some fuel lines to do some fuel sharing like that. Yeah, why did I do... I'm not making sense. Don't worry about me. I'm making 0 sense here. Sorry. Let's go back to what I had. That there, that there, that there. Still with all of these guys going on at the same time. Still all the asparagus staging. Just want to give a little bit more oomph to this, right? You know what I'm saying? A little more on these guys. Okay, now the TWR in this middle stage is 0.7 when these guys are done. It's got now 7,500 meters per second of delta V. I can put on a lot more. And... bum, bum. You know, more is better, right? I think I like it. Now I'm up to almost 8,000 meters per second at delta V. I've added on about another... Now I'm worried I got on too much, actually. I do have too much on. No, that's it. We're stopping here. Stopping at that point. We're going to put some nose cones on that, and we're done. There we go. And I'll take a look at the chat and see. Find it very hard to play and look at the chat at the same time. Why do you use Kerbal Engineer instead of the game's normal DV calculator? I like Kerbal Engineer. I think it just does a better... Sometimes they can be in conflict with each other. In fact, am I not seeing that conflict right now? Oh, this might not be on the vacuum tool. Yeah, they're a little bit out, but I don't know. I like this. I just like this better. And there's more information I can get to if I want it. So I do like the Kerbal Engineer one better than the stock one. Okay, let's turn this thrust limiter down. Well, I really don't need... I don't think I have better engines, though, than those, so... Okay. Alright, Lordy, I think I'm getting close. I want some separatrons. Just to separate these boosters off. Like so, and they're going to be staged up here. There. How much money do I have? Oh, 93, not that much. I'd like to make more money and upgrade the VAB so I can use proper action groups, which I have not unlocked yet. I do want to just do something with that. The stock texture comes out weird, I don't know why. Alright, I'm going to get into here, and we're going to go to the gear action group, and on the gear action group, I'm going to stage the fairing. And then I'm going to pull that out, and then I'm going to take that out of the staging. So we'll stage that with an action group. Okay. I'm thinking I might just give this a go. It's just, it's, you know, it's a, it's not crude. It is expensive. It's a 45,000. I can't just throw it away. 46,000 Kerbal rocket. Like if it, if I lose it, I'm going to be upset because I only have 93,000 Kerbals. But I think I'm going to go with this. All right, let's save and launch. How would an airline get me cash? Unaccomplished engineer? I'm not sure. I'm seeing, are we building an airline? I'm not for cash, but I'm not building an airline. The only, I don't know. The only good source of cash, I think. Where is that C-class asteroid contract? One of these. B class, this one. So this is our contract to go get that C class asteroid. What we're gonna do is, see the texture on that still got messed up. Is we're gonna come out here. Oh, now I gotta find it. It was like Fin, but not Fin, like FNI. It was this one, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is center this on Kerbal, get that on edge. There's us. So what I want to do is get it so that our launch site is kind of in line with, oh, I got to get the moons on the edge. There we go. Just so I'm looking right on edge of all these orbits. I'm right over the equator. There we are. Actually, Kerbal Engineer might be able to help me out with this. Do I have a time? Okay, that's all messed up. I was looking at the time to the relative ascending and descending node, and it's in days, so that's messed up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to here, and I'm going to try and go at about a 40, maybe a little less than that. I'm going to go 40 degrees. We'll see how this goes. So we're going to launch towards the north at about a 40-degree angle. We'll see. Probably right where this little dot is probably just where I want to stop. Take the time warp off again. I'm just going to get that orbit right on the edge again. See how I do. Okay. So that and Z, and let's go. We're off. We're off, we're off. So north 40 degrees. So that would be 40 from 90 leaves 30. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. 40 from 90 leaves, oh my god. 40 from 90 leaves 50. Oh my lord. Let's start pitching over. Oh, we got too many reaction wheels. Too many reaction wheels. Let's toggle one of these off right now. Okay, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. That's never a great start. Here we go. Okay, lock that onto prograde. Need to come more. It's very jittery because of all the reaction wheels on it. So I want to pull it a little bit more towards the north. Coming up very steeply. Okay, reducing throttle. Might just keep it locked on prograde now for a little bit. And I want to watch my inclination. I want that inclination to be about... Well, actually, I can eyeball this. It's getting in the right direction. I'm looking at maybe about 40 degrees, I'm guessing, on the inclination. Keeping the throttle down, I'll let this fall over a little bit. Okay, I'm about 37 degrees on the inclination. Let's get back to here and look. Maybe a little more. A little more this way. Don't you dare think I'm going out of control on me. I think I'm high enough that I don't have to worry too much about that. Back on surface, you stinker. Okay, what's my inclination now? 41 degrees. How's that look here? Still higher. I'm also watching my apogee, or my apowapsis. Come on, more this way. I think that's good. Let's lock it onto prograde. Come on, get on there, you stinker binker. Okay, we can lose our fairing. There we go. The thing was ugly anyway. Alright. Getting close to staging the nerve. Nah, not quite yet. So once I've locked on the orbital prograde vector, I shouldn't be seeing my inclination changing anymore. So I'm keeping it where it is. I might have gone a little bit too far. We'll see. Go away, Kerbal Engineer. Don't need you. Getting close on our apoapsis. It's not terrible on the inclination. Might have needed to launch a little sooner maybe. But it's okay. This is what I want. I want to get all this work out of this booster and just dump it shortly before we make orbit. Which I think is exactly what's going to happen with the amount of fuel. That's kind of what I was shooting for, so... This will finish off the orbital insertion, but it won't need a lot of fuel to do it. Okay, we are in space and just about at 80 kilometers on the apoapsis. Cut. Okay. We can extend solar panels, which are not on any kind of action group. And we can do extend that one. Now I'm looking at it, I was worried about, I put lights on it just to simply tell me which side was the top, and now I can look at this and I can see, oh wait, those are on the side actually. No, the top is here. That's the top. Oh well. We'll figure that's for later. Got 43 meters per second just left in this stage. So I think this is going to work out perfectly. My periapsis, I'm already almost at orbital velocity. I maybe need just about another 100 meters per second. So let's do a little bit of this. And now we're on the nerve. And let ourselves get a little closer. Oh, prograde. Okay, 80 by 80. All right. Yeah. All right, that's good. Let's start thinking. So again, my goal was to put it into an orbit that's at roughly the same inclination as that. Actually, here I can see I have a 1.6 degree difference, which honestly isn't too bad. But the idea now is to do a maneuver out here. And go out and get that asteroid. This should be about 1,000. I can see now I need to come more this way. You're basically trying to go out where he's coming in, right? Okay, there's my encounter over here. All right. Let's get rid of all the other asteroids. Can I just turn those off? Yes. Okay. So, let's see if we can tweak this down. And and I'm meaning it up in 9 days, so plenty of days before we actually are going to, what was it, 26 days or something? Can't remember. Let's see. If I start changing the timing, oh, that makes it a lot better right there. Just going 10 seconds into the future. Okay, that made it worse. So I'm just making it as good as I can just with timing. Don't have to make this by any stretch perfect. We're still missing. We'll do maneuvers as we approach it. But it's nice to get it as close as we can. And then I'll do a little bit of prograde. See if that makes it. That's making it better. Little prograde making it better. Oh, that's making it worse, so stop on that. Not going to do anything but prograde on this. That made it better, didn't it? Nope, made it worse. That way's worse. So I think that's it. There's my burn. Wait, 1679. Yep. Yep. There's my burn there. Okay. So that's going to get us coming within about 1,600 kilometers in a little over 9 days. But we'll be doing maneuvers as we approach it anyway, so that is fine. All right. Let's put this on free, and this is going to be a 2-minute and 6-second burn in about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to lock her onto the maneuver node. Turn this way for, whoa, for solar panels. Again, I think I'm going to turn down. One of these I already disabled. And this one I think I'm going to turn down. And this one should be disabled, right? No, those are running. Okay. This one's disabled, so turn that on. Okay, there we go. We'll need all this torque when we get to the asteroid, but we don't need it right now. Get ourselves a pretty sunrise. Okay, 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and go. Resources up here. I love the nerve. I love this spike that it adds to this. That's neat. All right, and like I said, this is going to be a couple minutes. Get a little drink of water. I'll do a little physics warping here, but not too much. One day later and I would have missed it? Really? Why would you say that, Oliver? It's 26 days until it crosses into Kerbin's SOI. Am I missing something? Or, I don't know. Yeah. I do have multiple alarms. I'll explain it in just a little bit. Hopefully I'm not messed up. Let's go and take a look at our maneuver here. We'll take the time warp off. Be a good idea. It's going to the end of the burn, and then we'll tweak it. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. So right now, separation of 1,684, and I'm going to use a little RCS, a little H on that. And bring that down as low as it'll go. That's as low as she goes, 1,679.2. So just to get into what the alarms are, my C-class asteroid is going to be crossing Kerbin's SOI in 23 days. We're meeting it in 9 days. So I'm thinking we're all good. I'm hoping we're all good. It got me worried. Okay. I'm not sure there's much else for me to do with this, so let's just warp on out here. So we're just going to leave the SOI. Warp to here. Who's going to get there first? Didn't even look at that. Lost where Kerbin is. There's Kerbal, way down there. Focus on our ship. That's what my problem is. Oh, the Sentinel SOI change is happening, so we got to jump to that vessel. No problem. Whoa! So, Sentinel infrared telescope is just a few minutes. Oh, wow. I guess they're all crossing the SOI pretty much at the same time. I guess that makes sense. I launched them one after each other, didn't I? Okay, so that is the Sentinel infrared telescope is now officially in orbit of the sun. And we need to put a maneuver down here. Set this up. And again, I do have here. Why do I have one? Should I have both of them so I can see them? That one. I need an apoapsis of 11 million kilometers. Oh, frick, it's pretty much a circle. Let's not worry about it. I think if I just circularize here, I'm sure it'll be fine. So that's 11.08, and it's supposed to be 11.09, so maybe a little bit. There, and this one's supposed to be also 11.0. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine. I shouldn't be so picky. Here, just do this. You don't... There. So that maneuver's coming up in 178 days. So let's set up an alarm for that. So create an alarm. Again, engineers nicely in our way. For that maneuver, give us about 10 minutes warning. And this is the Sentinel insertion burn. Okay, and yep, that should be good. Boom. And I should also be able to start this now, right? Start object tracking. Okay, it's starting to look for asteroids. There is a log observational data, but there's nothing to get. Nope. Whatever sign. I mean, if I sent it back, I could do it, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, going back to... Oh, I never set up an alarm for that. Shoot. My other vessel. There it is. Switch to you. All right. So that is all set. We are probably in orbit of the sun now. I think we've already crossed the SOI. Yes, we are. So what I'm just going to do is put a maneuver ahead of me, if I can. There, about 15 minutes ahead of me is fine. And we're just going to play around with it to see if I can bring this downwards. So, you can see the... It's not going to be much. Maybe a little more than that. That's making it worse, so we'll go anti-normal. This is the whole... That's making it better, bringing the AN in. Now it's 153 kilometers. What about a little radially inwards? That makes it worse. A little radially out. That makes it worse. What about a little bit of retrograde? That's making it better. I had it down around 51. There we go. How about a little more normal? That makes it worse. This way's better. I saw 35. A little bit more retrograde. Nope. A little prograde. Yes. Seems normal and prograde are the things to play with. I saw 10 kilometers. 5 kilometers. Let's turn down the sensitivity quite a lot. Okay, a little bit of anti-normal, I think, is what I'm doing. Oh, it was under 2. .1. Now this is clearly way more than close enough, but now, of course, my pedanticness is kicking in. I want a 0. 0.2 kilometers. Oh, that might be as good as I'm going to get. 0.2 kilometers. Okay, so let's bring that maneuver a little closer to us and we'll burn it. So it's a 38 meter per second. It's going to be a 4-second burn. If I pump up the time scale a bit, I can bring it closer. That shouldn't be affecting things too much. Okay, 3 minutes. Well, it did affect things more than I would have guessed. Okay. Let's fix it again. Okay, I see 1 kilometer there. Might just leave it at that. 1 kilometer is fine. Okay. All right. Put you on the maneuver node. Let's make the burn a little longer. Okay. This is not the DART mission. I'm not sure. Oh. You don't need to get a bullseye is what you're telling me, are you? I know, I know. I'm going to bring up that Kerbal engineer again. Just because it gives me rendezvous data over here. So that's always useful. So you can see it's mostly a normal correction dealing with the fact that I was out a little bit with my inclination, but that's okay. It's going to start a little early, but just not go full thrust. Might have overdid it just a smidge, but that's okay. Okay, where are we at here? We got a 3.8 kilometer. Let's see if we can do a little RCS fixing. Look at that. A little bit of RCS on the end. I got 1 there. Can I do any other directions? 0.8? 0.1 kilometers. I'm not touching anything anymore. I'm not touching anything anymore. Now, I do have a 580 meter per second intersection speed, but that shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to get rid of my contracts here for just a bit. Wow, I'm excited. So we're going to be there in 2.5 days. I'm just debating whether to set up another maneuver here. I think I might. Just put it in a little bit ahead. And then about 480 meters per second retrograde, and just see if I can This, at the very least, what I can do is knock off a ton of speed. And then make the rendezvous a lot easier. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I was putting too much. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Start over again? Something's not quite making sense. Oh, it's not retrograde, of course. It's prograde, you big... I'm thinking retrograde relative to the target, but what I got to do, if you take a look at my orbit, right? My orbit is this one. What's the asteroid's orbit? Oh, it's hitting this, of course. I don't know. Okay. But it's not necessarily retrograde is what I'm saying. That's the part I'm messing up. So I'm switching to prograde. It's retrograde relative to the target, but of course... Okay. Alright, bringing down the encounter speeds, all I need to do. Oh, don't know what happened there. Oh dear. Oh dear, come back. I'm not thinking I'm doing myself any favors with this maneuver. Let's try it one more time. What's making it tricky is that I can't quite... What's my orbit? This is my orbit coming in the dotted line. This is it. So I can see actually it needs to be normal. I need a lot of normal. Now I can see that. So I got to bring my trajectory up. No, I got to bring my trajectory down. Oh my god. There we go. Now I'm causing stuff to happen. Okay. Let's do it the rest of the way with here. And then I'll use... probably a little... Prograde's making it better. And I lost it. Well, I might be losing it because I'm doing it too soon. Let's back off a bit, or too late. You know what? Screw it. The game's getting all confused. I'm going to just freewheel it. We're going to freewheel it. So let's... I got here... time to intercept. So let's just start time warping. Actually, let's look at my solar panels. Put this back to full. That's not what I wanted to push. I wanted that one. I'm going to free wing it. So here we go. We're two days, and every time I time warp, it disappears, which of course drives me crazy. Let's start time warping. Okay, stop. We're back. 1 day, 1 hour. Of course, what you want to avoid is coming in too fast. Okay, stop. Okay, we're about 5 hours away. Let's put this on target. Now put this on retrograde. And I can start to reduce my velocity relative to target a little bit. So I can keep an eye on this, and if it starts to get... I can get myself closer. It's not going to take me 3 hours to do that burn. get within an hour or so. Still 2 hours away. You know, yeah. I hate the fact every time I time warp it disappears, but I'm just... Okay, stop. Stop. I'm about an hour away. Let's go a little closer. Of course, if I could quick save, I would be doing that now in case I botch this and go blowing by my asteroid. But I think I'm okay. About an hour away. Let's see if we can. No, I can get closer still. This is not that big a deal. Closer still. $43 minutes. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. Fortunately, the game, when you get two orbits that are really close to each other like this, the game gets kind of screwy with calculating rendezvous. Okay, I'm just going to start burning. And I just want to start reducing orbital velocity, but I don't want to end up pushing up this separation too much. And right now I'm pushing up my time to the target, so I'm clearly not too close. I can get a lot closer. Let's get a lot closer. Okay, stop again. About 36 minutes away. Just start burning. So I'm reducing velocity. I am pushing it further away from me. And I'm ready to cut throttle if I need to. Because at some point this might just disappear, which is annoying. But I think fiddling with maneuver nodes was getting too frustrating. All right, close. Let's get closer. Still 47 minutes away. The asteroid is a C-class asteroid. A little closer still. Thankfully, still right where that AN is. Okay, 24 minutes. Let's do a little bit more burning. And yeah, that starts pushing it further away again. The separation distance is still pretty good. It's 0.4 kilometers. But I think once I'm in with about 100 meters per second on the target speed, then I can probably go to out of map view and kind of wing it more. Okay, I'm going to cut throttle again. Let myself get a little closer. Or maybe even a lot closer. You can see the asteroid riding right along beside us here. Okay, we are about 20 minutes away. Let's knock off a little bit more speed. And then probably come out of map view. Alright, I'm just going to cut it when we get under 100 meters per second. There we go. So our relative velocity with the target now is under 100 meters per second. It is somewhere in that direction. I'm going to open up Kerbal Engineer and give us some more target info here. So let's open up the Rendezvous tab and let's see what we got here. We got relative velocities right there. I don't care about that, but I would love to see a time and distance to target. Are they going to give me time till approach? Install that. Nice, 41 minutes. And distance. Why does it say surface? Okay, it says 4 kilometers. That seems reasonable. Okay. All right, so we're about 4 kilometers away. It's over there somewhere. Yeah, the intercept does get squirrely with the time warping and stuff, but see, even with Kerbal Engineer, because the way the game is calculating it, as soon as I go time warp, see, it goes from 40 minutes and it just disappears. So if I just time warp ahead 20 minutes just by watching the clock, so we'll go to 4:16 on the mission clock here. And just kind of ignore that. And then stop the time warp and then it'll recalculate it for us. Okay, let's take the time warp off. We should be about 20 minutes away. Yep. And we are just under 2 kilometers away from our target. We can reduce our speed here a little bit more. Actually, the other thing, do I not have, sorry, Kerbal Engineer again. Do I not have like closest approach distance? Can it not give me that? You would think it should. I know I can see it from... Oh, wait, I can see that here. Never mind. I got that here. There's my closest approach distance. I don't need Kerbal Engineer for that. Okay, let's start reducing this. Again, I'm pushing up my time to approach. That's a sure sign I can just get closer. So let's knock off another 10 minutes on this. So let's get to 27 minutes on the mission clock. Okay, time warp. We are now less than 10 minutes away. We're less than 1 kilometer. So if I hit F4, here's our waypoint. All right, let's do it. So I'm giving myself a little bit of throttle. And I can see the time is still being pushed up. So that's always a sign that I can do this even later still. Let's get closer. Let's take another 5 minutes off. You know, relative velocity is only, yeah, let's take off another 5 minutes. So 33 on the clock. Maybe even a little more than that. Oh, now it feels like it's going away on us. I can see that. Okay. I feel like I need to push it a little bit, now that I'm looking at the Navball, a little bit this way. Reducing that thing. Still pushing the time to closest approach distance up, so that's always good. Okay, we're under 100 meters with our closest approach now. Reducing our relative velocity. I'm just going to take my time. If I do a physics... No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Cut throttle. Time warp. Does that still mess up? It does. But let's take off 2 minutes. So it's 36 minutes on the mission clock. So let's get to 38 minutes. I can get even closer than that, really. Whoa. Watch yourself. I can now see the asteroid. It has been rendered. I'm only 30 sec. Just realized I'm really close. I over time warped there a little bit. But that's okay. I'm still able to push it up. As long as I can push it up, I'm okay. We're under a minute to it now. But our velocity is less than 22 meters per second. Then we gotta find a place to hook onto this thing. This is completely given up. Notice that. I got no information there that's useful. That stock is giving me. All right. Again, every once in a while I'm watching this time to approach now. I'm glad I brought that up because the stock one's done. So I'm just keeping it around 30 seconds. Every once in a while I just give a little extra push. We gotta find a good spot to latch on. Oh, I'm a minute away from it now. I probably did this a little bit too. Took off a little much. So this isn't one of the biggie ones. This is kind of a mid-ranged asteroid. Well, I still got so much delta V too. I mean, I'll have a lot less once I hook onto the asteroid. Because, you know, the asteroid's going to weigh a lot more than we are. Probably start thinking about arming this thing. Control from here. Let's go this side. It's got a lot more light. There we are. Okay, we are now less than a meter per second, so I can spin this around. And we'll use RCS from here. And I also want to target that center of mass, don't I? Let's actually bring ourselves, well, let's not crash into you just yet. Okay. Stick that onto the target. Oh, I should deal with that. Let's show actuation toggles. Take the yaw pitch and the roll off. I should have done that in the VAB. I'll be putting that on again in a little bit, but for now I don't want that. Actually, isn't it already targeting the center of mass? Isn't that the way it works? I think it is. I think I'm just... Target center of mass. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm thinking where I'm going is pretty good, so I think I'm just going to go straight in. Oh, I hit J instead of H. That's not cool. Get up a little bit of a head of speeds, or head of steam here, so that we have the need enough speed for that thing to do its thing, right? And then I'm going to need all those reaction wheels and then some. I think we're pretty good. And is it going to latch for me? Goof, I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, so we got ourselves an asteroid. Target center of mass. There is a pivot on this thing that you can use to pivot the craft if you're not pointed straight at the center of mass, but as far as I'm concerned, I am pointed straight at the center of mass, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I do have to worry about the solar panels, because if I end up orienting this so it's in the shade side of the asteroid, I will lose electricity. But let's turn on those reaction wheels. So toggle torque. Yep. And turn that one up to full. And that one I think I never turned off. No. Okay. Let's see if we can... I'm planning on using the asteroid as a heat shield. Now, it's been a long time since I've done this. I'm thinking that's an okay thing to do. I'm hoping it is. Alright, so what we want to do is focus our view on Kerbal, because we're going to be intersecting Kerbal now in... Oh, it's up here. 14 days. Right? Yep. And we're going to focus our view here. And what I want to do is play with... Let's get rid of the extra debris that we don't need to see. Okay. Which maneuver direction will get this just to come out? So if I give it a little retrograde, what's that going to do? See? Oh, well, that's working pretty good right there, doesn't it? Maybe I'll see if I can play with getting the inclination down to something reasonable, though that's a little bit trickier. So retrograde was definitely the direction to go. I'm going to put this at about 40 kilometers, maybe a little more than that. And all I want to do is get the capture. Do I want to play with this? If I set the moon as a target, I'll get a good view for... I want to minimize my inclination with Kerbal, right? Because probably eventually I want to get this into an equatorial orbit, or at least something pretty close to it. Normal. Yeah, that's bringing the inclination down. Now, there's only so much I'm going to be able to do because we are coming in out of plane. Now, a little retrograde. More of this. More retrograde. A little more of this. Now I'm not convinced I'm doing anything. Oh, wait, I think I've gone too far that way. Yeah. That's my problem. A little less retrograde. I shouldn't get too concerned about it. We can fix inclination once we're there. Using the asteroid as a heat shield works perfectly good. I've done that in the past. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something that, you know, I'm going to screw myself over with. Okay, we're going to go with this. Be a little bit more in. We can tweak this once we're in the SOI, but I'm thinking I'm going with this. Okay. So, this burn's coming up in 8 minutes, and I can see I do not need to move it that far. And somehow, oh my gosh, we got some wobbles happening. We're going to use the time warp trip to stop the wobbling. Because the last thing I want is for this thing to shake itself apart. Okay, that's good. That is set the full throttle. It's only a 1 minute. It's only a 34 meter per second burn. I'm going to have so much fuel to fuss about with this. I am assuming I am still pointing towards the center of mass of this. Yep. Like pretty close. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this ultra rare. I was seeing H-class asteroids and stuff like that are just monstrous. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I've ever done more than a D, maybe. The asteroid missions, although they're fun, they're not really... Like, you would think you bring an asteroid towards Earth orbit and it would have all the resources you're ever going to need, and it doesn't work that way. You attach a drill to this and you'll suck it dry in no time. Which is a little unfortunate, I think. Okay, we're going to get closer. I'm going to start the burn early because I don't know if I'm going to have issues with keeping this thing pointed in the right direction once we get going. Noticing I got a message here, a world first of some kind. Excuse me there. Sometimes this can turn, and if they're not exactly pointed at the center of mass, which you rarely are, it can turn into a fiasco pretty quick. Okay, we're about 2 minutes from the burn. Locked on there, locked on there. Let's give a 10. No, let's go a little closer. And we'll give it some thrust. There's no rush with this burn. All right, so I'm going to go to half throttle when I get to a minute away from the burn. That's my plan. A minute away from when it says I should do the burn. So right here, I'm going to half throttle. And it seems to have no trouble holding that vector, so that is great. You can watch to see that the indicators here are not struggling. I'm just going to hold it. I'm not going to push my luck. I'm going to keep it at half throttle. I'm just going to let this thing just do what it's doing. Let's watch this from Kerbin's perspective. All right, I'm very happy. Very happy. You wish they had gravity. You can build bases. I've built stations around the asteroids. You got to use like the well, actually there's a couple of ways to do it, because you can use a Kerbal engineer the engineer can attach things to the asteroids like docking ports and stuff like that. That does work. Or you can simply use the grabber units to attach things to your asteroids. But I actually find asteroids make a fun kind of base. You know, the structure of a base. It's kind of fun to build build a base around one. And the big ones, you can actually put a base like right on it, eh? That'd be cool too. But we'll do something with this thing. Right now, it's just about getting it into orbit and figuring out what to do. You can see how little delta V I have, actually. I say I got a lot of fuel, but I only have about 100 meters per second of delta V because of how big this asteroid is. But that's okay. We shouldn't need too much pretty soon. Just about. Here we go, and I'm going to go to about 42-ish for a wimpy altitude. I just want it to be enough just to get a capture. That's good for now. Okay. Cut that, cut that, cut that, cut that. Excelente, excelente. Okay. I don't know if this is even right anymore, so I'm going to cancel that alarm. Am I getting a good... Oh, I do have an I-class asteroid coming in 116 days. Oh my gosh. I got good solar exposure, so I might just leave everything exactly the way it is. Not fool with stuff. Let's just time warp to our... time warp to here. Now, while that's all happening, oops, I think this guy might be finding. I still also have, I'm not giving up on this, my Comet one that's been a little bit borked, but it might be working now. This one. Detect 3 comets, that's also a possibility. So far, this one's detected 0 out of 8 asteroids, and this one is detected... It doesn't look like it's detected any comets. Oh, I can see there's Kerbal, there's the moon. You can see how we're coming in on a very high, well out of the plane of the equatorial plane of Kerbal, but that's okay. And there wasn't much we can do about that. Okay, back to our vessel. Almost there. All right, we are now in Kerbal's SOI, but we do not have an orbit. That's this 41. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the Trajectories mod to predict what our resulting orbit's going to be. And you can see it's okay, right? It's out past the moon, it looks like. And I kind of want to keep it like that because... Maybe even make it a little bit higher, actually. But let's make sure this is set up right. So we're going to go through in a prograde direction. And I might just leave it. Just leave it the way it is. Not do anything else. Just leave it. It's all good. All right, so let's get ourselves a little closer to Kerbal, and then we're going to need to turn ourselves around. Oh, we do have a message. I forgot that. A world's milestone was, you have performed a rendezvous maneuver in orbit about the sun. I did. You have started construction of your first station around the sun. Not really, but okay. We have performed a docking maneuver. Whatever. I'm going to let all that stuff go. I guess it counts as docking. Okay, we're going to warp to about here. And then I think I'm going to start turning around and all that kind of stuff. Maybe even wimpier. Where's our... That is 18 days away. There we go. Warp to here. Very paranoid in not being able to turn this thing around in time. Well, it's sort of docking, I guess. I love coming in on Kerbal from a wacky angle like this. Because it's a perspective you're not used to seeing. Oh! 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 I saw 2 of 3 of something. Am I on crack? Hang on. I saw a little message while I was time warping there. Maybe it was 2 of 8. Here it says 0 of 8, but I saw 2. I thought it said 2 of 3 for detecting comets. There's nothing here that says anything. But there was a little... I'm going back over the video evidence on this one, but I could have sworn it said 2 of 3 of something. The Sentinel has detected 2 of 3 of something. And the only thing I need 3 of are comets. So maybe this comet thing's working. That'd be exciting. Okay, we're on this though. We're on that. It's not. Let's stay on task here. That's what I want. Okay. We are still how far from our periaps a day? So we can get within an hour of periapsis and then start thinking at. Ooh, we're not missing the moon by too much. There goes the moon. Okay, 2 hours. 1 hour. Okay. Let's start turning this around. So we're going to go and lock this onto prograde. Oh, this is slinging around this asteroid without too much difficulty. Look at that. I was thinking I was going to need to use RCS and stuff, but oh my goodness. Oh, okay. The Contracts Plus window can lag behind, can it? How about... Oh, that won't... This button doesn't work. It's been toggled to that. Oh, don't do the wobble on me. So I'm just going to do a little time warping to stop the wobble. Some people might consider that a little bit of a cheat, but I don't really care. Okay, and let's get down there. This is scary. I'm going to retract solar panels and retract the antenna. I'm not sure if they'll be protected by the asteroid or not, but I'm certainly not going to risk it. Okay, we're 40 minutes away from our periapsis. 30 minutes away. Actually, time to atmosphere is the one I should be watching. 20 minutes to the atmosphere. Okay, we are 10 minutes away, or almost 10 minutes away from the atmosphere. Let's let this get itself back on. Actually, I should put this on surface. Put this on free. There we go. I don't know why. Looks better that way. Again, getting a little bit of wobble there. Undo the wobble with a little bit of time warping. And just do this very cautious like. Yeah, 2 of 3 comets. Okay. Okay. So the comet contract is working. That is awesome. I was very close to deleting it. But it is working. I hate that wobbling. You know, I could do this with a Kerbal, and then you get an engineer and you kind of strut this all down like guy wires. I bet you that would really help with the wobbling. Okay, I'm 7 minutes away. So that means if I go into map view here, I should be able to see some asteroids, right? Or some comets coming in. That is these fellas. See these unknown objects? That looks like a comet or something. I don't see their true. Okay, let's focus on one thing. How far are we from the atmosphere? A little under 7 minutes. Okay, let's time warp a little closer. This is looking like we're going to be on the night side. Okay, we're about 4 minutes away. Reorient itself. Again, a little wobbling happening there. A little time warping to stop the wobble. And now I'm going to stop wobbling. Just scares me. It's just feels like it's going to wobble itself right apart. Okay, I'm just going to deal with that. So let's retract. You know what? Maybe all these reaction wheels are just not a good plan. Let's toggle the torque on that one. Maybe I don't really need them. Retract that solar panel and retract the antenna. Let's disable these reaction wheels. And let's turn the torque on you down to like a low number. There, that takes care of a lot of the wobbling. Well, hopefully it can have no trouble kind of holding this vector. Okay, where are we at? 2 minutes. Okay. No reason to fear. We're just bringing an asteroid through our atmosphere. No reason to panic, everybody. We do this every day. Okay, 50 seconds from the atmosphere. Oh, I was still time warping there. Take the time warp off. There we go. 40 seconds. I was worried about that, Adam. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping as far as the game's concerned, this is a perfect sphere. But Adam's asking, does the aerodynamics of the asteroid affect it and wanting to make it turn? In reality, it should. And there's no way this little craft should be able to hold it onto a prograde vector if this big thing just wants to turn. But, you know, we're going to hope that that doesn't happen. But we're going to keep a very close eye on it. There's a reason I kept this window pinned so that if I need to suddenly put this on again, I will. But it seems to be hooking onto this without too much problem. Of course, we're going to get a nice light show from Firefly and from particle reentry effects. Getting ourselves a nice hot asteroid. Look at that. That is pretty. Sticking right onto the vector, so that is good. How are we doing as far as we are 35 seconds away from periapsis? And then things will start getting better. No heat bars or anything on the craft, so that's good. We have a capture. Our apoapsis has gone positive. So that is all good. And 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and we are on our way back up again. Easy peasy. Oh, you're very welcome there, Jordy. I'm glad. It's a fun game to figure out. That's for sure. Man, this is pretty. I'm kind of happy to be on the night side of this. I think this is actually nicer here. Okay, our apoapsis is now down to about 36,000 kilometers. So still out well past the, that's like 3 times the moon distance, but that's okay. We are coming out. Oh, that's the other thing about real asteroids too. Although they come in different types, some asteroids really aren't much more than a loose collection of rubble. And they would come apart like nothing. All right, so once we are above 70 kilometers, we'll extend solar panels. I'll leave the wheel authority where it is. Okay, we are out of the atmosphere. Extend antennas. Now they're still not in orbit because our periapsis is too low. So we have one final stage in order to complete this contract. I'm looking at the time, and by gum, I'm going to do it before this is all done because this shouldn't take too long. We've got to go out to here. And we've got to... Actually, no. Shoot. No. We shouldn't do this. We should definitely not do this. I was about to say I was going to just... But no, we should bring this orbit down as much as we can through all of this stuff. What we should be doing is seeing if we can fix our inclination. I don't think I have the delta V for that. Let me think. If I set the moon as a target, that gives me an AN and a DN. So this is my DN. Oh my gosh, am I going around... I'm going around prograde, right? Yes, I am. Okay. I don't think I have the delta V to fix my inclination. I don't think so. Not even close. Okay, so what we're going to do, what we're going to do is we only have 95 meters per second left. We don't have all the time in the world to fuss about. No, we should ride this around a couple more times. We should ride this around, bring it down, get it into an orbit that we can rendezvous with. We'll stick some more fuel on it, and then we'll think about putting this into an orbit that is going to work for us. We're getting some good enough solar exposure, so I am thinking that this might be the end of this episode. I was going to go up to Apoapsis and just push the periapsis out and just to finish off this contract, but I think I'm better off bringing my Apoapsis down further and then sending up and then putting it in an orbit, and then we'll send up some fuel and we'll try and see if we can, or maybe what might be even a better plan, just send up another one of these bloody things. I don't know. We'll see. And rendezvous with this thing. We'll see. Yeah, but I think all of that's going to have to be for the next episode. So in the meantime, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank everybody who's watching this at a later date. Extra special thank you to my Patreon patrons and YouTube members who directly support the channel, and also to all the people that indirectly support the channel through participating in the chat and commenting and liking and subscribing and all of that great stuff. Tomorrow, we got another RP1 video coming out. Thursday is going to be back into Reentry with the Apollo 13 mission. Saturday is going to be another RP1 video, and then we're back to this again next Tuesday. So in the meantime, have yourself a fantastic week, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.